Yeah, it's supposed to be TMP.
Oh, it's supposed to be TMP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, days. Okay.
You have to create TMP first.
And I think yours is named
Yeah, so it's, I created it with the wrong, it's TMP.
No, I think you
No,
created
it's
it with
TMP itself. For me, TMP works.
TEMP works for
Yeah.
you?
Let's say-
It didn't for me, and it didn't for him.
Created it because it's TEMP.
Also, you
For both of them.
It worked for me. I did.
You have in there had
had
user.
Can't you understand?
Oh, yeah.
Kurt, you have in there had user instead of HD user.
Oh, yeah.
That's from the type
I have add user where?
Oh, but-
No.
Oh, yeah, this is the
But I
first time.
think, I think you ran it a second
Yeah,
time
I
and fixed it.
that. HD
Yeah.
user would do.
It is, yeah, it is TMP in the text file, and I did it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
even
guys
I
are
did
right,
it
it's
that
TMP.
Like, you have another A in this apps. The second Hadoop has an A in it. I think yours was named.
You probably-
I did, but I think it's.
TEMP comes native, but
it
TMP
should be
is one that we
TMP, not
created.
TMP.
So you need to create the TMP file for, or directory, do the make dir.
Well, I would say you did create it and he named it TEMP and the file says TEMP.
Oh,
So
What
everybody
step
else
is that in the Word document?
On your Word document, or you change it.
I don't know, I remember it was
So I
earlier.
think if you try.
Did you do at the very
just
top of the
change it
instructions,
to
sticky
one
user
very
stuff,
top
right?
but the text file directs it to TMP,
Even you did TMP?
I believe, is what
I was
Evan was saying.
following what he did on the screen because I didn't have it in front of me.
So this is when I was trying to change the ownership. Did you, you're saying
No, it wasn't there.
that that's probably right?
Did you run those
Yeah.
two?
So where are the instructions? I can't find them. Oh, it's before you get to this. This before.
It says that, right?
Maybe it's in the other
But yet if I
file
go
of
here,
instructions.
the error is,
If you do a
With no-
sudo make dir
These two. Oh, yeah.
app Hadoop TMP
So how do I check
and then
mine
chown it,
if that's
it'll run
TMP?
just fine.
Well, I'll just look to see what directory, if you
we
have
did
an
this,
app
did you tell me
Hadoop
to do?
T
So-
and then star, and it'll tell you what,
Should I do this one?
look for a TEMP, look for TMP, and if it doesn't exist,
Oh, you want me to make?
then look for TEMP.
Make sure, well, oops, you do that. There.
No, something up there, okay.
And then.
How did we miss that?
Isn't that right? This one?
Yeah, so delete the HTTP.
Oh, yeah, that's because.
What should I type in here?
Well, so it needs the error message.
Made
Oh,
that.
look,
Now
yours
you
looks,
do
Yeah,
looks good.
but I just want to know, is it TMP or TMP?
It's supposed to be TMP.
Now if you run it.
At least when I tried running it with TEMP, it didn't work.
Okay. So here it says, is it there in this?
I didn't see it in there.
Hmm.
That was it.
Okay.
I made the directory and I didn't chown
So
it.
how do
Oh,
I?
so they're in your file.
So you made the correct directory and
So
didn't
are
count
you
it.
wondering why it worked for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does anybody not get it to run at this point? Everybody's got it running?
So do there.
So Lisa had the question of, did it do all three processes then? And
Yeah, it did all three books. See where it said shuffled maps up there equal 3, merged map outputs equal 3. So it took each of
Oh.
the 3 files and did them all.
And it
So
did-
now if you,
reduce.
Yeah,
you
it did all
can, you
three.
can either type a command in here and into DFS and say spit it out, or you can copy it out of the DFS system back into the Linux file system and then use your favorite utility on it So we'll get-
WC, to look at number count.
But-
count.
Let's see, I suppose I need to copy that in, no, I need to copy that in.
It's not reading, just
It was really,
file writing.
alright, so how do we see the output? It's pretty simple if I remember. Copy the results out, yeah, there you go. So you can cat it out with this console command here. So you're using DFS, and it has the cat command. So it's DFS cat, and the name of that output. And you see that name part R1000 or R000? That's almost always the right times, but sometimes it's not. So you might want to get a dir and see what's really in there. In my case, it was that. And if you do it, what you will get is this huge list of words. This is, I pasted in the trailing edge of it. So the words, the white was in there exactly once, and this was in there once. So, that's a word. I may have to use this. I'm playing Scrabble with my brother.
Right? Danzig, Thurs, Fifth?
All right, I'm gonna see if there's any chance at all I can actually get this to write it back to me. So what do I want to do? I want to say, that looks like Hadoop command. Bin Hadoop DFS. And then I want to say dash cat. And then I need to say that, and then I think I need to say slash. Use part R and 5 series.
I think if you just type key in this tab, it should auto-complete it.
I can do what?
Just
Key
type
tab.
key and then tab, and it should auto-complete it for you.
Oh, mean, it'll tab it, it'll.
Yeah, it'll tab complete.
Mine hasn't been tab completing
Oh.
for user
Oh,
or
never mind.
for the
Right.
user directory at all.
I'm just online.
It's normally a Linux thing, but, you know.
This is Hadoop.
Yeah, we're in the H. we're in
User,
the-
HD
the other
user
file
doesn't
system.
exist.
So it is a part dash R 000.
Is it?
I don't want to do cat. That's too detailed.
Yeah, so
I get error with those combined.
you get an error with that command?
Yeah.
Did you change BC user to HD user?
Where?
Did you change
It's not
BC
BC user,
to
it's HD user.
Oh boy. All right, so what word was most used? U was up in the 2000s.
Yes.
What about the?
Thank you.
A or the, maybe?
Yeah, let's go up and look for A.
Does the grep command exist?
Oh, yeah. The cat will only show up to the
You
W.
should be able to save it as a text file or something.
Yeah, if you go back to the Word document, it says you can, instead of doing that, you can copy it out and then you can open it up with anything you want.
Does VI exist?
Okay, so in summary, what did we do?
E dash grab is unknown.
We grabbed 3 books, created 3 files,
VI
and then
exists.
we stuck them in a directory.
Dash BI.
Now,
just
I
did
have
VI.
no idea how the Word
Oh, just a
Java program knew.
Right,
I'm sure if
there's
I could
nothing
read
there.
Java, I could figure it out. But we didn't tell it what books to look at. We pointed it to a
It was in
directory,
the
and it grabbed every text file that was in that directory. So we could have put 10 books in there, it would have done all 10 books. In fact, for fun, you could rename some of them and make it like 5 times longer if you wanted. Okay, and then we have a Java program which brings in a bunch of libraries, and it uses this, we need to define a mapper, and we're extending the mapper class that comes with a Hadoop library so that we can do things like void map. That map would have come from there. And some number of that basically tells you what to do. Context right word 1, And then we have a reducer, which we use as a combiner. So after each, again, if you think of these 3 books as going to 3 nodes, then each node would have gone through one whole book, and then it would have added up the total for its words. That would have been the combined phase. And then it would have sent them all over to one of the nodes as the reducer, and the reducer would run the semicolon and count them all up. And the power of this, and as I said before, this is big stuff. Every company you know, every major corporation you ever heard of is running the death out of this. They do instant customer analysis and forecasting the price of gold so they decide whether to invest in it tomorrow or not, or forecasting the weather, decide whether they really should plant crops or not because there's going to be a drought, and all those kind of sort of complex, big problems where you want to pull in a whole lot of data. They're all using this or things like this. So what I'd like you to try to do is pick one of these and aggregate word count, counts the words in the input files. Okay, we just counted each unique word. Okay, so we counted how many times the word up here. A simpler form of that is the first one, aggregate word count. It'll just tell you how many words there were. Okay, so I hate to tell you this, but I think it's conceivable that all you need to do is change one word in what we just did, and it'll run. Another one does a histogram of the words in the input files. I don't know how it does a histogram. I assume it's going to run dots across the page or something. An example job that counts the page view counts from a database. That would be too hard to set up because you'd have to have the real data that would work. A MapReduce program that uses the formula to compute the exact bits of pi. That could be a fun one. I assume there's a parameter and you tell it how many bits. So probably setting that one up is probably, you probably go look at the sources, and the sources will have comments and they'll tell you how to run it. Or fundamentally, you can just cut and paste that on the web and search for it, and it'll tell you. And you can probably say, give me 25 bits worth of accuracy of pi. I'd be happy to accept that as a successful homework. The one that I really liked is, do you know this game, Sudoku?
Yeah, Sudoku.
Does everybody know Sudoku?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Sudoku.
that's terrible. You're not shaking your head, yes, sir. Do you know it?
Is that the,
Yeah,
is that the
but
matcher
it-
game?
Yeah, no, it's the 9x9
One to nine.
squares.
3 by 3.
Or the 3x3 with 9x9 boxes.
Yeah, so it's
It's addicting.
what is it?
It's terrible.
It's perfect for someone like that.
Isn't it like that? And then there's 9 by 9 in each of these or something like this?
3
3 by 3.
3x3.
3 by 3.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So let me get another color. Now, when I taught this last time,
No.
now my parents used to do this all the time, and it was really effective. They would say, well, when your brother was in school. Okay, so I'm going to do one of those when your brother was in school. So each of these has, and the numbers are random. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they're all different. And there's a bunch of them that are left out. And there's a rule that like there can only be one across this way, and there can only be one across that way. And you have to go through and basically solve simultaneous equations in your head. Anyhow, it's crazy how many people were playing that for how long. They get really addicted. Anyhow, that's a pretty cool one. And I think all you need to do is to set it up with data in a particular structure. Anyhow, Deborah did that one. I thought that was the coolest one. So if you're really interested in this and you think it's cool, I would do that one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, pick one of these simpler ones and fire it up and run it. And probably for your output, how do you do a screenshot on? Can you do a screenshot on these Linux systems?
Yeah, you just push print screen.
Print screen.
Print screen and what?
It just saves it to
That's
your own
one
memory.
word.
Windows.
Just
type.
print screen?
Saves it to the
Or-
buffer,
or
and then you
snipping.
paste it in.
And
No, it
something
saves
else.
it to your
Or
own
you
memory.
Oh, that's
Click
Linux.
on your
But you
Windows
can actually use Windows
Oh,
to
yeah.
print screen over the top of
Now,
Linux.
Or we
this-
can use snipping tool also.
Yeah, you can use
This
different-
person knows how to appeal to my heart. She said, just go to the Windows screen, and it'll
Right.
capture a picture of the Linux screen.
That's,
Yeah.
Thank you.
That makes the file.
So, for the one we just did, hello, like capturing the end of the job with a screenshot like that, it's pretty clear that you did it. That's really all I need. Okay?
So is it pretty much the same process, and then you just pick a different command and run that command?
I mean, all you gotta do is in that command that I just typed, which was here, it went to that library and it found that word count. That's the name of the app we ran. You would change that. You would, if you had to create input, you would put it in some directory, and then you would specify some other directory for the output.
And they're all the same like that?
Yeah, well, some of them are probably different. I don't know how the Sudoku one worked. I don't remember what it helped with.
Are all of those acceptable? You're saying some not, some of them not.
Yeah, I
acceptable?
mean, I might scoff at you if you did one that was too
Like,
easy,
yeah,
but
the
you'll
word
get
count.
full points for it.
So, are,
No, but
where's
which
the,
ones are they all?
are there instructions for each of those for setup?
I doubt it, but if you, in the notes in the Word file or someplace, I also showed you where the source files were.
Oh, so
If
it's
you
in the
open up the
source
source, I'm
files.
sure they have comments. But easier would be just to type the name into the web and search for it,
Okay,
and then find it.
okay.
So then what we're gonna do is, we're just playing with real Hadoop and real Java, okay? And that's it, we're done. Now, for the next time, we're going to run Hadoop, but we're gonna set it up and execute it from a high-level language called Pig. And that makes running the Hadoop much easier than trying to write complicated JavaScript with all those weird classes and things I don't understand. But it actually is quite hard, I think, because you have to learn to think in set theory. We're so used to algebraic expressions that the Pig statements are pretty hard to read, because you really have to flush your brain of algebra and learn a new whole syntax for the set theory. But all we're going to do is we're going to take our orders in. We'll do a couple of Pig examples, and then we'll take our 450 orders in, and we'll munge on them. We'll figure out which salesperson sold the most music and which disc sold the most in what store. A couple of things like that. Okay.
Don't forget to stop your Hadoop server.
Yeah, I would recommend stopping the two. Which go up with we have it. Start all. Just change start all to stop all.
All the BC.
I'm a fast typer.
I think so.
I come from a family of typists and print workers, so my entire life I've typed. So.
A procrastinating type. Fast typer.
My mom was a fast typer, but I never learned to I never actually took typing until